In today's video, I'm going to show you how to put this Automata box together, and this will be part one. So let's get started. This is the box we're going to get together today. So I'm going to start a new design. The first thing I want to do is I want to come up and I want to hit save, and I want to give this a name. So we're going to call it Automata Assembly, and I'm going to call mine 2 because I already have one. We'll hit save, and you can see that it says Automata Assembly. So the first thing is I want to bring in one of my pieces. I'm going to start off with my bottom piece. I'm going to just come in and slide that in, left click and hold it down. I'm going to kind of move this back a little bit. I don't want it right on my 0, 0. And we'll hit enter. Next I want to do is I want to bring in one of my side pieces. So I have a side piece here that I can use on both sides. It's called right and left side. I'm going to drag and drop that in. And I'm going to move that back a little bit. And I'll move back. I want these corners close, somewhat close together. I'm going to zoom in. Now, I want this piece to go on top of here. And I want that corner right there to be on top of that corner. So I'm going to go my assembly and joints. I want to double check to make sure I have rigid. Yep, I do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my cursor onto this face of the side piece. I'm going to hit and hold the control button down. I'm going to slide down to that corner. I'm going to do the same thing on the front edge of the bottom piece. I'm going to put my cursor on the front edge, hold the control key down, and grab that corner. Now, the pieces may come in one or two ways, so we can always just flip it, and then we'll hit OK. And you can see that I had that little rigid joint symbol right there. So I have my little joint connected. I'm going to bring in another piece. We'll bring in another side and drop that in, and I'll kind of move this over to position on where I want it. We'll hit OK. We'll zoom in. Now I want this corner to sit right on top of that corner. So we're going to go back to assemble, joint. I know I'm in rigid already. So I'm going to put my cursor on this edge, hit the control key and hold it down, grab that corner. I'll come over to this edge, hit the control key and hold it down and grab that corner. And again, I'm going to have to flip it. Okay, so I got two of my sides in. Now I'm going to go down and kind of grab my top piece. You can find it. There it is. Now I want the top with no holes. So let's go up. There's my top with no holes. We're going to grab that piece and pull it in. And I'm going to pull it up a little bit and we'll pull it over. Enter to hold in place. Now I want this corner to be right and connected with that corner. So I'm going to go back to assemble, joint, put my cursor on here, hit the control key, grab that corner, put my cursor on this edge, hold the control button down and grab that corner. And again, we're going to want to flip it. So there we go. I'm going to spin this around so I can see the back because I want to put the back piece on. And I'm going to find my little back piece. Where it is. There it is. I'm going to slide and bring it over. And I'm going to pull it out a little bit and I'm going to pull it over. So that way we can zoom into this corner right here. Now, here's my little side piece. I'm going to grab that corner of the side piece and connect it with that corner of this back piece. So we're going to go assemble, joint. I'm going to put my cursor on the back piece. I'm going to hit the control button and come up and grab that corner. Now I'm going to come over to this edge right here, hold my control button down, and I'm going to click on that corner right there. And again, we may have to flip it. And now I have my box together. Okay, we got a couple more pieces we're going to add on. The first thing I'm going to add on is I'm going to add an axle bushing. So I'm going to come in here and drop that in. And I'm going to pull this over a little bit. And kind of get it somewhat close to that hole so you can see what I'm doing. We'll hit enter to hold in place. This time I don't want a rigid joint. So I want to change this. We're going to go to assemble, joint, go to motion, and I want this to be my revolute joint. Everything is going to spin around this one piece for this whole model. So I'm going to change that to revolute, go back to position. And now what I want to do is I want to zoom in. I want to grab this little flat edge right here. So I'm going to hit the control button, hold it down, and I'm going to slide my cursor and it's going to grab the center of that. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to come over to the side face right here. hold my control button down. It's going to grab the center of that, and I'll click it in there, and we'll hit OK. And you can kind of see that I have a little revolute symbol, and you can see that I can now spin this around a little bit. Next, I'm going to bring in my axle. So we'll zoom out a little bit. I'm going to drag my axle in, and we're going to drag it over here so we can see it a little bit better. Now I'm going to put my axle inside that square hole. So I'm going to go back to assemble, but I need to change this back to rigid. I do not want this revolute, so I'm going to change it back to rigid. I'm going to come on top of that little axle and grab the center of that. And then I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to put my cursor on this face right here, hold the control button down, and now I can jump over to grab that center of that. I'm going to flip this, but I'm also going to pull this out. So I'm going to grab this little arrow and pull it out. And I can see that I'm changing the offset down here. So I want to change that to 0.25. Okay, that would be my Z offset. So I'm going to change that to 0.25, and we're going to hit OK. So you can see that it's sticking out just a little bit. All right, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to spin my little box around, and I'm going to bring in another axle bushing. And we're going to slide this over a little bit, get it somewhat close to our hole. There we go. But this time I'm actually going to spin this around so I can kind of see the back side of this. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to still use my rigid joint, and I'm going to grab this bushing. Again, I'm going to put my cursor on that face, hold the control button down, and grab the center of that. Then I come over here and grab the center of that, and I'll slide it over. You may have to flip it again. So it looks like it fits on real nice, and it does. All right, going to go back to our home. We have one more piece we're going to put on, and we're going to come up here and we're going to grab our crank handle. And now my crank handle, I'm going to kind of flip up a little bit. And I'm going to rotate this around in the position that I kind of want it. And now I'm going to slide it over closer to this edge right here. There we go. So again, I'm going to still stay with my rigid joint. So I'm going to go assemble, joint. I'm going to put my cursor on this face, hold the control button down, and grab that center point of that open box. I'm going to come over here, my axle, and again, grab the center point of that box. I'll flip this around. We will hit OK. And now we have the first part of our Automata box finished. Hope you enjoyed this video.